an extra day this week. So yesterday's training was really good. And now we have a few things to finalize as we get ready to travel to Salt Lake City.
Thank you, Bob. First question today to Vince LaRosa. Vince, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, Bob. I wanted to ask about the squad as it's constituted now. The secondary transfer window ends just before the end of this month. You'll have a couple of call-ups. There's been some injuries. Obviously, there was the retirement of Danilo. Do you see your squad as complete as is? And what areas would you want to strengthen if that's not the case?
Well, there's different discussions going on. Keep in mind the challenge in this transfer window being so late with a schedule that will be packed with games, knowing that if a player comes from outside between obtaining a work visa and then quarantine, there's real challenges. But as always, we're looking at different ideas, and so we'll see what that gets us.
Thank you. And our next question to Alicia Rodriguez. Alicia, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Bob, I was wondering of this injury status and a possible timeline for return at this point for Carlos and for Tristan. Thank you.
Carlos is doing a little bit as a neutral player in training. That's really positive. When you have an MCL, that final stage, getting the confidence in the knee, feeling that it's strong and stable for the different actions. As everyone knows, his MCL is the left knee, and with his ability to do both things with his left foot, then that's the final part to get all of that back. It's really difficult to give a final timeline for that stage, but just seeing him on the field in training is a boost for everybody. Tristan is still working on the side, not back into training yet, picking up the running, getting more confidence in the hamstring. It's still games away.
Thank you. Next question to John Rojas. John, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, Ben. Bob, Diego's not in the Uruguayan roster. I think that's part credit of the conversations that you guys have with the federation.
Yeah, timeout. That's not true.
Okay.
We've supported all of our players, and the federations are making their decisions based upon their objectives, their evaluations. We were very proud that Diego was included in the 30-man squad for the first time. We all spoke to him this morning, and we're disappointed for him because he's worked hard, and this is still something that's important to him. But none of our conversations, whether it's been with Uruguay or Ecuador, has been to try to to change their mind on anything. We've supported our players in order to develop players. Set goals, opportunities with national teams are really important.
Right. Thanks for that clarification, Bob. And the part of the question was then, so the other three guys are traveling right after the game this weekend?
That's the plan at the moment.
All right. Thank you, John. Next question.
Just to finish, when I say at the moment, yes, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. The federations can still, based upon situations, make changes, but that's what we're expecting.
Got it. Yeah. Thanks.
Great. Thanks for that, Bob. Our next question to Josue Lopez. Josue, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Bob. As always, thank you for your time. You know, in this really strange schedule, the team has played twice a week. Now you have a whole week to get ready. How has that changed game preparation for next Sunday?
As I mentioned at the start, just having an extra little bit of training this week means you can get back to some training sessions where you can push push things a little bit more. And that's what we did yesterday. So it's been a long time since we've had a training session where we could push the tempo, create the kind of actions that we think are important for our team. So I think everybody really enjoyed that part. And now the final 2 days are just small details in terms of what the game might be like on Sunday.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We're gonna have 2 more questions here. Next to Gio Garcia. Gio, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey Bob, I'm just hopping on here, so I apologize if you already asked this question. In terms on the other players, I saw that Diego Rossi didn't get called up. Have you had conversations with him, and what conversations have you had with Brian Rodriguez? If you guys do make it to the playoffs, it looks like you guys may have him for a couple games.
I mentioned earlier, and it's no problem to repeat because you weren't on, that it's been a goal for Diego. We were very excited for him that he was part of the 30-man squad. When the final 23 came out, all of us were disappointed for him, and we let him know that. We still speak about the fact that this was a step forward, that he's recognized for his play this year, and that his chance, I think, will come in the future. In terms of Brian, whenever a player is leaving on international duty, we want him to go and do well and be ready that when it's finished, that he can come back here and be ready to jump back into things and make a strong impact. And that's going to be in important games for us. So that's the responsibility when a player leaves for international duty.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gio. And last question to Alex Kamener. Alex, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Coach. What news do you know about Sifu and Diego to play for Ecuador national team? I ask you this because in Ecuador, Sifu appears in the roster. What news you know about it? Thank you.
I have not seen the final 23 for Ecuador. So I saw Uruguay's today and we discussed it. So I can't speak in a proper way about the final part of Ecuador. It's possible that it's come out when we were speaking earlier today with John Thorrington and going through all this. We covered Uruguay, but at that moment, I don't believe there was final information from Ecuador.
All right. Thank you for your time today, Bob. I will let you guys know who's next shortly. We're now joined by LAFC's Dejan Jakovic. We're going to start. Dejan, why don't you tell us, how it's been, coming off of the tough loss last game, but going into a week where you actually have some time to regroup. You didn't have to turn around after, a couple of days and play again, have a little more time to, like Bob mentioned earlier, just work through some more, high intensity pieces. Just talk a bit about that.
Obviously the disappointing loss in San Jose. It's still a quick turnaround for us. Obviously, we were able to kind of push a little bit harder this week, which is something that we haven't been able to do with all the games. It's still a quick turnaround. Guys have been sharp, and we're getting our minds right and getting prepared for Salt Lake and Colorado.
Thanks, Dejan. Your first question from Giovanni Garcia. Gio, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Dejan. Obviously, you just mentioned about the loss. LAFC is obviously known about the community in the LAFC 3252. What message do you have to the fans right now that may be struggling to find some optimism within this team?
They're pretty much our heart and soul. So it's been sad to actually not have them with us, because they mean so much to the community, to the club, and of course to the players. Just to stick through with us. Obviously, I know they're going to support us no matter what, but to sit tight and we're going to get through this.
If I can just add, how's the camaraderie within the team after that loss, within the players?
It's good. It's obviously a bad loss. It's at the end of the day, we have to find a way to close out a game. We had some opportunities where we finished them off, but they're credit to them. They're a tough team to play against. Kind of continued to push, and we weren't able to close them out.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gio. Next question to Vince LaRosa. Vince, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Dan, you mentioned about this week being a good week for you guys because you did have the ability to train a little bit harder than you usually do. But then the schedule is going to get packed after this. And when a team is kind of struggling, trying to find some consistency, can you tell us why training is so important to this style of play, and you guys in particular, and why missing those extra days to really get at it might have set you guys back in some ways?
Sorry, I kind of cut off a little bit. Can you repeat that?
Sorry, yeah. I just wanted to ask, when the schedule gets packed and you aren't able to get those extra training days in, why is that so important to a team like LAFC that plays in a certain way? What is it about training that helps enhance your game and gets you guys some consistency?
Well, we're able to work on a lot more things. We're able to push ourselves. We have a lot of players, guys. There's going to be guys coming in, stepping in, and everyone kind of has to be ready to play their part. Like you said, it's going to be a stretch of a lot of games, and we are going to have to rotate some players. Hopefully we can get some players back as well, but it's going to be a tough stretch.
Thanks, Vince. And our next question, last one for Dejan here, John Rojas. John, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thanks, man. Dejan, is being more settled now? After coming back out of the quarantine, a lot of games together, fires, changing on trainings, one-day travel. This week, help you guys settle not only on the training but mentally too?
Yeah, we're mentally we're all there. We're not changing anything. The way we play, the way we go about things. we have two big games, and that's our main focus. Everybody seems to be on the same page, and we have to go out and get two results on the road trip.
Thank you, Dayon. That's it for Dayon today. We're now joined by LAFC goalie Pablo Cisniega. We're gonna be doing questions in both English and Spanish. And I'm gonna start by asking Pablo, similarly to what I discussed with Dayon. But, Pablo, talk a little about how the locker room felt after the tough loss last game. And then, just tell us a little about, this week was not one of the weeks like it has been where you've had, a really short turnaround, couple of days, Wednesday game, couple of days, back Sunday. You guys had a week to kind of regroup. To talk a little about that.
Well, it was obviously very disappointing to lose that game, and especially lose it the way that we did. So after the game, we were all just very angry, very disappointed at ourselves for kind of letting those 3 points get away from us. And I mean, this week we've really tried to get back to what we've been doing and to kind of what we did last year and at the beginning of this season, where we had a little bit more time between games. We could really analyze everything that we did, like the mistakes that we made in the game. So I think it's been good kind of to get this week to get us back morally, and to kind of get us back on track.
Thanks, Pablo. And first question to Alicia Rodriguez. Alicia, please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Pablo, I'm curious, you've had a run of games now. Do you feel like you're in something of a rhythm now that you've played several games in a row? And how are you feeling at this point, being the number one choice, for the moment?
Well, as a goalkeeper, always getting that consistency and getting those games is key. I feel good. I feel like I'm getting my form again, kind of like what I had last year when I had a good stretch of games. I feel like the last couple of games I've been a lot better. Definitely reading the game better, and those things come with games. So I feel comfortable out there, and I feel like I can keep pushing. I can keep getting better, and I can still raise my level.
Thank you, Alicia. Next question to John Rojas. And remember, we can do English and Spanish. Go ahead and unmute yourself, John.
Thanks, man. I'm actually want Pablo to answer this one in Spanish. Pablo, un poquito en ese sentido que hablabas ahora en inglés, lo que quiero saber es si en algún momento hubo una conversación con Bob en la que te dejó saber, bueno, a partir de este momento es tu lugar y tus actuaciones dictaminarán el resto, o es una cosa que ha ido semana a semana. Y luego tú mismo, ¿cómo te has visto? ¿En qué has crecido desde ese punto en el que tuviste la primera actuación este año y ya con los partidos consecutivos?
No, pues habló conmigo Bob, pero habló conmigo hace ya un par de semanas, cuando se produjo el cambio, cuando me dijo que iba a jugar contra San José. Y me dijo que no hace una cosa de un partido, sino que me da una oportunidad de jugar varios partidos, y que si cometí un error no iba a ser que iba a ir luego a la banca, sino que me iba a dar esa confianza. Entonces eso para un portero es muy importante saber, porque obviamente es una posición que perdona muy poco. Entonces esa confianza de entrenador es muy importante. Y luego, pues yo creo que lo que comenté antes, ¿no? Entre más partidos juegas, más cómo te sientes, más vas leyendo mejor el juego. O sea, son detalles así. Y creo que estos partidos me han ayudado a crecer, y creo que voy a seguir creciendo. Entre los partidos creo que más voy a crecer.
Pablo, un poquito en ese sentido también lo que puedes ayudar al equipo sabiendo que con los dos idiomas, digamos, puedes ayudar un poco más también a la defensa.
Obviamente tenemos pues la línea atrás es la mitad en inglés, la mitad en español. Entonces tengo esa ventaja de poder hablar con los dos bandos, como por decirlo de alguna manera, ¿no? Entonces trato de aprovecharlo. Aparte de que no hay aficionados, es más fácil que me escuchen. Entonces en ese sentido trato de ayudar lo máximo a mis defensas para estar bien parados y para estar ordenados atrás.
Thank you, John. And our next question to Enrique Gutierrez. Enrique, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Espero que estés bien. Mi pregunta es un poco también en cuestión del crecimiento, pero no solo individual en lo que a ti te concierne, sino que esta formación que estamos viendo del LAFC, digamos que tiene muchos elementos nuevos. Es prácticamente un equipo distinto al que habíamos visto el año pasado, ¿no? En media cancha hemos visto diferentes personas ya ocupar esos lugares por lesiones o por cualquier razón. También en la zona defensiva ha habido movimiento de jugadores. Entonces, habla un poquito acerca del crecimiento, no solo personal, sino colectivo, de todas estas piezas nuevas que se han integrado al grupo.
Claro, obviamente ha sido un año complicado entre las lesiones de ciertos elementos muy importantes en nuestro equipo y luego también pues son muchos partidos en muy poco tiempo, entonces la verdad que tienes pues, 2 días entre cada partido, entonces es un año difícil, pero yo creo que para todos y yo creo que hay muchos jugadores que están creciendo, como que están integrando muy bien, por ejemplo, Cifuentes, Pancho, Bradley, o sea, son jugadores que no están aquí en el pasado y que están aportando mucho al equipo.
Gracias.
Thank you. And our next question to Daniel Schwartzman. Daniel, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. Hola, Pablo. Mi pregunta va más allá del fútbol. Ahora que en la ciudad de Los Ángeles hay dos equipos muy favoritos en sus respectivas ligas, que son los Lakers, que son los Dodgers, preguntarte qué tanto apoya el plantel a los equipos de la ciudad y si eso les lleva a ustedes un poco más de responsabilidad, también porque están dejando la vara muy alta con los deportes en la ciudad de Los Ángeles.
No, pues yo creo que aquí todo el mundo quiere que vayan a los equipos de Los Ángeles. Creo que aquí en el vestuario hay muchos fans de los Lakers y muchos fans de los Dodgers. Entonces, obviamente, esperemos que ganen cada equipo su respectivo título. Y luego, en cuanto a que están dejando la vara alta, obviamente aquí en Los Ángeles es una ciudad pues, de ganadores, ¿no? Entonces, obviamente, nosotros tenemos las mismas expectativas que ellos. Entonces, en ese sentido, ellos están dejando la vara alta y nosotros esperamos estar al nivel.
Gracias.
Thank you. And that's going to be it for Pablo and the end of our availability today. Reminder, we're going to be sending out a video recording after this. So if you don't receive that email, please just send us a note at lafcpr@lafc.com. Also, just want to remind everybody, if you want to be added to the LAFC PR WhatsApp group, where we'll be sending some more, timely updates, things of that nature, just please, again, send us a note to lafcpr@lafc.com with your name and number, and I'll make sure that you guys are all added.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.